In this video, you are going to learn the umbrella strategy for learning from difficult texts. You won't use this strategy if the text is easy. You won't use it if you understand what you're reading. And you won't use it if you don't need to learn much from the text. You won't use SQ4R if you don't care to learn from this text. Otherwise, this strategy helps you learn well from a text, especially a hard one, and in less time than you probably take now to learn well from such a text. You are not going to believe what I'm going to say right now, but it is true, and after a few days of practice, you will believe it, if you are like virtually all my former students. Here goes. If you read a text the way I'm going to teach you, you will read it multiple times and learn more, remember it better, and learn it faster than you can read it once the way you probably read now. The principle here is layered reading. With it, you support yourself before you read to prepare yourself to read it well. You prepare yourself while you read, demanding understanding from the author and from yourself. You support yourself after you read to be sure you learned from the text what you needed and wanted, and to be sure that this is not a in one ear and out the other learning experience, but a transformative learning experience. So here is the formula. The original formula was SQ3R and was developed in the 1940s by Francis Robinson. I have added an important R needed for academic reading. So, what are the parts of this formula? S stands for survey. This is another word for preview or overview. You quickly look over the entire chapter you are to read. Q stands for question. In this step, you set a strong purpose for reading this chapter. What is it you want to know and be able to do before you say, I'm done? You ask this big question for the entire chapter, but then you ask a question for sections of the text as you go along. The first R stands for read, but you do not read the entire chapter. You read just a chunk of the text, and you are actively looking for answers to your questions and for new information. Then you pause to do the second and third R's. The second R stands for recite. You stop to tell yourself in your own words what you just learned. The best way to recite is to write it. But you can just say it or even think it. The third R stands for reflect. This is where you demand understanding from the author. This is the academic step and can be accomplished in many ways, such as thinking about what confuses you or how this part connects to what you already know. You are not ready for the fourth R yet because you've only read a chunk of the text. Now repeat QRRR for the next chunk, and so on. Ask a question about the next chunk. Read it looking for answers. Recite what you have learned from that reading, and think about its meaning. Then you go on to the next chunk. Repeat this process. Question, read, recite, reflect for each important piece of text in the chapter until you arrive at the end. Now you're ready for the fourth R. The fourth R stands for review. Just as you looked over the entire chapter for survey, you now go over the entire chapter again. But this time to be sure you have met your purpose and to solidify your understanding. Let's take a closer look at each step. Know that you will be learning strategies throughout that will refine and enhance these steps. SQ4R is the overarching strategy for the whole program. Every strategy you will learn is actually a part of SQ4R. You will support yourself before reading during reading, and after reading. You will prepare yourself to learn from a text, will demand understanding along the way, and you will assure yourself that you have learned and are transformed because of your learning. You will enjoy SQ4R